Imagine waking up every day feeling like you're running a race with no finish line, chased by questions you can't answer, selling ideas that don't stick, chasing deals that slip through your fingers like smoke. You pour your heart and soul into building something real, from scratch. And yet, you're trapped in a world that rewards noise over substance, flash over foundation, promises over truth. The pre sales efforts, the calls, the pitches, the demos, feel like screaming into a void, hoping someone hears and cares. And when they don't, it crushes you. You're told the magic trick is closing, but you know in your gut something's missing. You feel it in every burnout, in every lost contact, in every cold email ignored. What if all the frantic pushing, the deal chasing, the endless negotiations, what if all of that is just the symptom, never the cure? What if pre-sales wasn't side work? What if it was everything? This isn't just theory. It's not some startup dream or an investor's pitch. It's the brutal reality founders and leaders face every damn day. The pressure to perform, to convince, to sell, before there's even a real product market fit. To create a story so shiny, it blinds skepticism. And here's the raw truth. Without pre-sales, without that first spark of human connection, everything else collapses. No marketing gimmicks, no fancy webinars, not even the slickest closing techniques can replace what happens when pre-sales works like it should. That moment when a founder's voice, their vision, cuts through the noise and wakes up the market, not just to want a product, but to hunger for it. To believe in it as if their future depends on it. Because it does. You see, pre-sales isn't just a phase in the sales funnel. It's not just the warm-up before the big game. It's the heartbeat of your entire go-to-market strategy. If pre-sales fails, everything falls apart. But if it's mastered, everything changes. The deals come easier. The investors' calls turn into offers. The team rallies behind a vision they can see as alive. Imagine having the ability to switch the market on, not with pushy tactics or flashy ads, but with raw human truth and connection. To make prospects not only listen, but commit, not just once, but over and over. What if this was the only thing that mattered? The one thing that could rewrite every frustrating story of endless pitching, cold emails, and no responses. Here's the thing. Most people approach pre-sales like a checklist. Reach out, demo, follow up, hoping for a miracle. That's where they die. Because pre-sales is not about activity. It's about empathy, intelligence, and timing. It's about being utterly obsessed with understanding the other person's world, their pain, their dreams. You don't sell a product, you sell a transformation. A change so profound they can't afford not to be part of it. That's a secret many overlook, and it's what separates those who spin wheels from those who light fires. So how do you do it? First, stop selling features. Stop pitching solutions that sound like everyone else's. Instead, dig deep into the raw, uncomfortable problem. Find the place where your potential customer wakes up at 3 a.m., heart racing, stuck in the same dilemma they've tried to escape for years. That's your battlefield. You show up there with humility and with conviction. You listen more than you talk. You connect their pain with the only real way forward, your vision made tangible. Next, understand this. Pre-sales is about stories, but not just any stories. Your story has to echo their story. It's about gestures that shout, "We get it," not whispers that say, "Buy now." Share failures, fears, wins. Make your narrative human. Investors and founders and real decision makers have zero patience for jargon and fluff. They want to feel your pulse, your drive, your raw humanity. When that happens, when your story mirrors their struggles, you don't just get a meeting, you get a movement. And movement is what changes everything. Because pre-sales, done right, turns solo quests into shared journeys. It's not about convincing someone alone in a room, but about building a tribe before your product even exists. It creates anticipation, fuel, a gravitational field that pulls the right players inside. It's how visionary founders find their first believers, how investors discover the rides worth taking, how leaders craft futures, not dictated by old rules, but made by new alliances. If you can master pre-sales, you master the power of connection, and the system's cracks become your pathways. What breaks most teams here is impatience. This is not a sprint. It's more like a slow burn that awakens a wildfire. The giants, the revolutionaries, the founders who change the game, they know patience isn't weakness. It's strategy. They understand that today's pre-sales conversation is tomorrow's billion-dollar deal. They nurture leads like seedlings in a storm, tender, deliberate, relentless. You don't need to overwhelm people with offers. You need to draw them in, over time, so deep that walking away feels impossible. Here's an invisible advantage. When pre-sales is your culture, your mindset, everything else becomes easier. Marketing isn't throwing darts blindfolded. Sales isn't cold calls, screaming for attention. Product isn't guessing needs in the dark. The whole system aligns because you built it from the beginning to resonate with the real world's messy, emotional truth. Suddenly, your pipeline isn't a number, it's a story filled with people rooting for your success because they recognize your authenticity. And don't forget the power of listening, like really listening. Most pre-sales conversations are about talking, about trying to persuade. But the real pros are those who dig into the silence between words, who capture doubts, hopes, and fears lurking underneath every sentence. They use that insight to shape offers so precise, so tailored, the prospect can't imagine saying no. This kind of listening is a superpower because it turns a simple call into a moment of transformation for both sides. When founders and leaders understand this, they stop chasing illusions of quick wins. They embrace the grind of building trust, one genuine touch at a time. It's exhausting, but it's priceless. Because once trust is there, the rest, the investment, the sign-ups, the buzz, flows naturally. It's why some startups break through, while others tire out in the dust. It's all in setting pre-sales as the core, the seed, the lifeblood. Now, here's a piece most never tell you. Pre-sales isn't just about external conversations. It's the internal compass. Too many founders lose their way inside their own organization, disconnecting from the very customers they want to serve. But the best leaders embed pre-sales thinking inside every cell of their company. Everyone from engineers to marketers lives in the customer's world. Product builds from those insights. Support talks in the language they've heard during those early calls. The entire rhythm of the company beats to pre-sales. This is how exceptional companies don't just launch products, they build legacies. Imagine waking up to a world where every pre-sales interaction is an opportunity, not a hurdle, not a chore. Where each conversation deepens your understanding and brings you closer to the tribe that shares your vision. Where pre-sales isn't a dreaded step, but the ultra-powerful engine that fuels every other part of your business. This world isn't a fantasy. It's waiting for those bold enough to hack the system, to reject comfort, and ready for the long, furious game. To those who burn fiercely enough to light the way for others. And here's the bottom line. If pre-sales were the only thing that mattered, the game would be different. It wouldn't be about who has the biggest marketing budget or the slickest product demo. It would be about who cares the deepest, who listens the most fiercely, who builds the strongest connections. Your status, your money, your titles, they fade behind the real power, the raw ability to move people before even a product exists. So the question becomes, will you treat pre-sales like a task to check off, or will you wield it like the weapon it truly is? Will you get lost in illusions of quick success, or will you master the hell out of the slow burn that builds unstoppable momentum? Because the system isn't designed to reward those who settle. It rewards those who break it, who transcend it, who build tribes, not just companies. Every call, every message, every single word you speak to a potential customer is a step in your revolution. Don't waste it on scripts or shallow pitches. Use it to ignite the fire that no investor or competitor can put out. Use pre-sales as the heartbeat of your entire mission. When that happens, the business stops being a struggle and becomes a movement, a force that moves markets, shifts minds, and changes lives. This is your moment to lean into that discomfort, to live in the tension, to transform pre-sales from a whisper into a roar. Because this isn't about selling, it's about freeing the individual, the founder, the investor, the visionary, to create a new reality. And it starts with one connection, one conversation, one soul-reaching pre-sales call at a time. Never forget, Pre-sales isn't a gatekeeper. It's the path itself. Walk it with intention. Walk it with fire. Because the world outside, with its old rules, its tired promises, won't wait. But those who own pre-sales, they own the future.